Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing good. Now today I'm going to review two fragrances from the house of Maison Alhambra and their G. Lowe line. The first one is called G. Lowe Matiere and the second one is called G. Lowe Nouveau. Now both of them are cloning original Louis Vuitton fragrances that unfortunately I have never tried, but in this video today I'll try to explain how both these actually smell. And just let me tell you something, I find one of them really enjoyable and the other one quite challenging. I'm going to start the video off by talking about G. Lowe Nouveau. I'm going to show you only the packaging of one of the two scents because they come pretty much identically packaged and presented. Initially, when you get to the fragrance, you get this outside box. It's white with some black accents. You get the name of the company, the fragrance, the bottle size 100 milliliters, the concentration, EDP, some additional branding and sticker of authenticity, and on the bottom there's a production date, which in the case of Nouveau is August of 2022. Once you open up the outside box, you're greeted by this cylindrical inside box. In order to get to the fragrance, you need to slide it open. This bottle sits inside. You get again the same branding in here, and once you get to the bottle, this is how the bottle looks. It has exactly the same design as every other member of the G. Lowe line of fragrances. Very nice bottle, very nice heft to it, very high quality, and you also get a magnetic cap, which in this case is actually pretty strong, so you can pick up the bottle through the cap. All in all, the packaging and the presentation, the bottle design of G. Lowe Nouveau is really nice, especially considering the price point. When it comes to the note breakdown of G. Lowe Nouveau, unfortunately I wasn't able to find a reliable source online about the note breakdown of this fragrance, but this is supposedly a clone of Louis Vuitton's Nuovo Mundo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name of the original fragrance right. I'm not familiar with the original scent, but from its note breakdown, I remember that it has leather, amber, it has cacao note, there's some agar oud, some florals, and I will tell you how this smells just going up from what I pick up actually from this one. Show you the spray in action. The spray is actually very decent, like any other G. Lowe fragrance. And onto the opening of this scent. Now the opening is where I find it the most challenging. As I said in the beginning of this video, I find one of the two scents featured today a bit challenging, and that's actually the one. The opening to my nose feels very smoky, very incensey, even to a point where it's a bit unpleasant. Also, I find a very strong agar oud note in the opening of this fragrance, which feels kind of animalic, and I don't really like that too much. Also, there's quite a lot of leather in the opening of this thing. There's a bit of amber sweetness as well that's creeping in, and some spices, but to me the dominating notes in the opening of this scent are the incense, the agar oud, and the leather. When this goes into the dry down, it becomes a little bit more pleasant, it becomes a little bit softer. Some of that sharp incense goes away. This still, even in the in the deep dry down, is still quite a smoky fragrance. The agar oud is still there. The leather becomes a little bit stronger, but at least the amber also gains some strength. So this is a little bit sweeter, on the dry down. All in all, I find the whole scent a little bit challenging, especially the opening. The dry down is a little bit more enjoyable. And when it comes to how close this thing is to the original, as I said, I've never tried the original, so I cannot tell you that, and I cannot compare the two scents. When it comes to performance, G. Lowe Nouveau has been a very decent performing fragrance. I've been getting somewhere between 8 and 9 hours of performance with pretty strong, pretty loud projection in the first up to 2 hours. So performance wise, there are absolutely no issues with G. Lowe Nouveau. When it comes to the price tag, G. Lowe fragrances are a little bit more expensive here in Europe compared to the average prices of Maison Alhambra fragrances. I paid about 30 euros in order to get Nouveau, and considering the fact that this comes very nicely packaged and has pretty decent performance, at the end of the day is an okay deal in my opinion, especially if you like fragrances that carry a heavy Middle Eastern vibe, which I think this does. When it comes to the versatility, it's not a very versatile scent. It's just too heavy on the leather, agar oud, and the incense in order to be worn in warm weather. So this is a strictly cold weather scent, in my opinion, more orientated towards the nighttime usage and definitely leaning to the masculine side. So all in all, when it comes to versatility, G. Lowe Nouveau isn't a very versatile fragrance, but that's just down to the actual scent profile. The second one in this video, of course, will be a Jean Lowe and Matiere. Again, I'm not going to go through the packaging because it's identical. I'm just going to share the production date. In this case, it's March of 2023. Bottle design, again, identical. The only thing that sets this one apart from Nouveau is the actual juice color. Nouveau had this sort of a yellowish, ambery color juice, where this has sort of a purplish, light purple juice color. Again, you get a magnetic cap and again, pretty good presentation. Again, like with the case of Jean Lowe's Nouveau, I wasn't able to find a reliable note breakdown of Matiere, so I'm not going to quote anything, but this is supposedly a clone of Louis Vuitton's Matiere Noir, and that original fragrance is known for having agar oud, rose, some fruit, some floral elements in it, and I'll tell you what I pick up out of this fragrance without any note breakdown. Another great sprayer, and onto the scent of this thing. Now, I find Nouveau to be a very challenging scent, and Matiere is quite the opposite. This is very, very interesting, quite a lot softer compared to what I got from the other fragrance. It still carries a very Middle Eastern vibe to it, but the opening feels a lot fresher and a lot more fruitier. I pick up a blackcurrant note in the opening of this fragrance. There's also a nice sort of a fresh rose note in the opening of this thing. I still pick up a touch of, agar oud, but it's not nowhere near as animalic as I got from Nouveau. Also, there's a bit of a soapy vibe in this fragrance, and I really, really enjoy the opening of this thing. It feels fresh, fruity, sweet, kind of floral as well. On the dry down, it becomes a little bit sweeter again. Some of those fruits are still there. Some of the freshness goes away. An amber note starts to kick in, at least to my nose, adding a little bit more fresh, a little bit more sweetness. The rose is there, adding, balancing out the sweetness. The agar oud, all in all, a very, very enjoyable scent that, in my opinion, leans a little bit to the feminine side. But I've still been wearing this with very, and enjoying this fragrance quite a lot, although I probably think that this suits a girl a little bit better compared to a man. All in all, a very, very enjoyable scent. When it comes to the performance, another good performer, again somewhere between 8 and 9 hours of performance with very nice projection in the first up to 2 hours. So performance wise, Matiere is a good performer. When it comes to the price tag, pretty similar to what I paid for Nouveau, about 30 euros, maybe slightly less than 30 euros, which is a little bit more expensive compared to your average Maison Alhambra price, but still a very, very decent deal. When it comes to the versatility, this is a lot more versatile compared to Nouveau. It feels fresher, slightly sweeter, and can be definitely worn in warmer weather. You can wear this in cold weather as well because it has enough of a performance. As I said, unisex, maybe leaning a little bit feminine, and I find this to be a little bit more of a nighttime scent compared to daytime scent, but still pretty versatile fragrance. And so on to my final thoughts about Jean Lowe Nouveau and Jean Lowe Matiere. As I said in the beginning, I find one of them very challenging, and that's Nouveau, and the other one very, very enjoyable and easy to wear, Matiere. Both of them carry a very heavy Middle Eastern vibe to them, but Nouveau feels like something that's been created in the Middle East, scent-wise. It's very heavy on the smoke, it's very heavy on the agar oud and the leather. The dry down of this thing is a little bit more enjoyable, but still, in order to like this one, you really need to be into Arabic style of perfumery. If you're not, you'll probably not enjoy this one. When it comes to Matiere, this thing is a lot easier to wear. You still got some Middle Eastern vibe to it, but there's a lot of fruity sweetness here. There's some freshness. All in all, it's a lot more enjoyable and easy to wear scent, and I've personally been enjoying this one, and my wife is also enjoying this one. Both of them come very nicely packaged. Both of them are pretty good performers. So at least when it comes to performance, both of them are doing great. So all in all, at the end of the day, Nouveau is for the more experienced frag heads out there, whereas Matiere is a little bit more easy to wear. And so guys, in today's video, I reviewed two members of the Jean Lowe line from Maison Alhambra, Jean Lowe Matiere and Jean Lowe Nouveau. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.